Hello students, today I am going to start with the new chapter, that is the fourth chapter of your OCM, that is business services. Now in this chapter we are going to learn about the introduction, meaning, definition of business services, and which are the different business services like banking, insurance, transport, warehousing, communication. Okay, so starting with the introduction first. Now see, services are intangible in nature. They are neither manufactured, transported, nor stocked. Services cannot be stored for a future use, hence, they are produced and consumed simultaneously. It means what? Services are intangible in nature. What do you mean by intangible? Which cannot be seen or touched, right? You can just experience it, you can just feel it, but you cannot touch it, like goods we can touch, we can feel, we can see, right? But services we cannot see. We cannot manufacture, transport, or stock it, right? We cannot manufacture it and stock in the godown for whenever we will need it, we will use that service. It is not like that. Service is to be done promptly at the time when it is needed, right? So it cannot be stored for the future purpose, neither they can be produced uh, advance, right? So they have to be produced and consumed simultaneously. When we need when there is a need of service, we have to perform at that time only, right? Business services are those services which help in successful running of the business. They are intangible in nature, heterogeneous, inseparable, inconsistent, perishable in nature, and require consumer participation. So this business services, uh, what is the main, what is the work that is done in business is producing goods, right? But after producing the goods, to make that goods available to the consumers, we need different types of services. For this business, we need different types of services, like we need bank to finance the business, right? Then we need transport system so as to uh, make our goods available to the consumer where it is needed, right? We need insurance, right, to insure our goods against store our goods. So there are different services without which the business cannot work. Only production of good is not, like we have produced the goods and business is done. It is not like that. Till the goods are reached in to the consumer, whatever other things that we do, what are the other services steps that we take, right? These are called as the services, and without services business cannot be done, right? So they are very helpful in the successful running of business, and they are intangible in nature. As I told you, you cannot touch it, you cannot, they are not able to, you are not able to see, right? Then heterogeneous means what? Different. They are different from each other. They are inseparable, means you cannot separate it. Then it is inconsistent means sometimes it can be more, sometimes it can be less. It does not have a consistent level. Then perishable in nature, as I told you, you cannot store and consume it afterwards, right? So it is perishable. You have to perform that service at the same time when it is needed, and require consumer participation. If the consumer is not participating, it cannot be achieved. Okay, so now coming to the meaning. Sometimes services are difficult to identify because they are closely associated with goods. No transfer of possession or ownership takes place when services are sold, and they cannot be stored or transported. Services are instantly perishable, and they come into existence at the time they are bought and consumed. So now when I'm telling that I have produced 500 units of product, right? Whatever is my product, but and it has been reached to consumer. Here I am not mentioning the services, but that services are there. So it is closely associated with goods. It is always like if the goods are produced and it has been reached to consumer, that means the services are already included in this, like banking, insurance, warehousing, transport. But we are not saying it, that goods are produced and services are used and it has been reached to consumer. So this is the meaning of this line, that they are closely associated with goods. So sometimes we don't understand where is this service, right? So when the goods are brought and sold, they come into the existence, and moreover, as I told, they are perishable in nature. Now see here some of the banking, contact center operation, insurance, telecom, all these are the services with the help of which we conduct our business, right? With the help of which the goods are reached to the consumers. Now coming to the definitions, following are some of the important definitions. A service is an act of performance that one party can offer to another that is essentially intangible, and it does not result in the ownership of anything. In production, may or may not be tied to a physical product. So this definition is given by Philip Kotler. According to him, a service is an act of performance. It's a performance which one party offers to the another, that and it is again intangible, and it does not result in the ownership of anything. Means suppose banking is providing me finance for producing my goods, so it doesn't mean that the bank will have the ownership of the goods. He's just providing me the service and I'm paying him the amount, right? So this is way, suppose I'm taking insurance of my goods, so for that risk I'm paying the premium, but it doesn't mean that the insurance company will take over the ownership of my, the insurance company बोलेगा नहीं नहीं ये तो मेरा goods है अभी क्योंकि मैंने आपको insurance दिया है, ऐसा नहीं है. We are just paying them the premium and they are just providing protecting us against the risk of the goods. This is the meaning of this. The ownership is not transferred. So its production may or may not be tied to a physical product. Means the product, the good which we have produced, we may or may not tie its production. Now next, activities, benefits or satisfactions which are offered for sale or provided in connection with the sale of goods. So this definition is given by American Marketing Association. According to this association, activities, benefits or satisfaction, these three things, means some activities if we have done, some benefits we have received or some satisfaction we have received, which are offered for sale or provided in connection with sale of goods. As I told you, services means where it come into existence after the goods are produced, and when the from this production period to the when the services goods are reached to the consumer, in between whatever we are using is the services. So it's the connection with the sale of goods basically. Now we have learned with these two definition, any one you have to memorize. Now the second one, next is the features of services. So the first feature is intangibility. A service is not a physical product that can be touched or seen. A service can be experienced by the buyer or the receiver. Service lack material form and therefore they are intangible. Due to intangibility, service cannot be demonstrated like goods, and therefore service provided must create good impact on the consumers by delivering quality services on time. So first thing, as we have learned, it is intangible. इंटेंजिबल मीन्स इट इज़ नॉट अ फिजिकल प्रोडक्ट. फिजिकल यानी जिसको हम छू सकते हैं, देख सकते हैं, हाथ में ले सकते हैं. मैं इंश्योरेंस बोलूँगी, इंश्योरेंस को आप हाथ में ले सकते हो क्या? वो पेपर्स की बातें लगेगी. मैं इंश्योरेंस, ये इंश्योरेंस है, ऐसा बोल सकते हैं? नहीं बोल सकते हैं, राइट? सो इट इज़ नॉट अ फिजिकल प्रोडक्ट. It cannot be seen or touched. Then they can be experienced by the buyer or receiver. Means here, if I am the entrepreneur, I have produced the goods, I am taking the insurance, so I am the buyer of this services, so I can experience it, right? Because it's intangible. I can मुझे पता है मैंने इंश्योरेंस लिया है, अगर मेरे गुड्स को कुछ हो जाता है तो मुझे इंश्योरेंस मनी मिल जाएगा. So I will experience it, right? Services lack material form. As I told you, it's intangible, and due to intangible, services cannot be demonstrated like goods. आप डेमॉन्स्ट्रेट नहीं कर सकते उसको गुड्स की तरह. जैसे गुड्स है, सपोज जूस का पैकेट है तो आप उसको खोल के दिखा सकते हो, ग्लास में डाल के देखो ये जूस है. ऐसे आप सर्विसेज को डेमॉन्स्ट्रेट नहीं कर सकते हो, राइट? So जो service providers हैं, whoever are the service provider, maybe insurance company, maybe transport company, maybe banking companies, they should have a good impact on the customers by delivering quality services on time. So if they are going to give good quality services to the businessman, then only he is going to take it, right? So this is the first feature of service, that is intangibility. Now coming to the second one, it's inseparability. Unique characteristics of service is that the service and the service provider cannot be separated. The presence of service provider is there at the time of delivering services to customers. In case of services, production and consumption take place at the same time. So here, whoever is the service provider, like bank, insurance company, transport, anyone else, they cannot be separated. Means whoever is the consumer who is taking this service and who is providing this service, you cannot separate them, because they both have to, one has to give and one has to take, so you cannot separate it, right? And moreover, the production and consumption takes place in the same time. If I am taking the insurance policies, the insurance policy company has to give at the same time, right? So the production and consumption, it is at the same time. Unlike the goods, in goods what we do, we first produce it, right? Then we sell it, then we do send it for the consumption, we sell it to the consumers. So first production takes place, then sale comes. But here, production as well as consumption same time. If I am taking a loan from the bank, so I am taking a loan, even the bank has to credit that amount in my account. So same time the production and consumption of services is done, right? That's why it is called as, it is inseparable in nature. Then next come inconsistency. Services are heterogeneous. There can be no perfect standardization of services. Even if the service provider remains the same, the quality of service may differ from time to time. For example, same restaurant can give different experience to different consumers. Now inconsistency means हमेशा सेम नहीं रहेगा, कभी कम है कभी ज़्यादा है, right? So services are heterogeneous. Homogeneous means what? Which are same. Heterogeneous means what? Which are different, right? So there can be no perfect standardization of services. आप सर्विस को स्टैंडर्डाइज नहीं कर सकते कि ये इतना ही है, मीन्स लोन मिलेगा तो इतना ही अमाउंट का मिलेगा, किसी को ज़्यादा चाहिए ज़्यादा भी मिलेगा, किसी को कम चाहिए तो कम भी मिलेगा. इट विल डिपेंड अपॉन द person to person, even if the service provided may not be the same, right? If I'm taking these banking services, I can take from the number of commercial banks in the market like HDFC, ICICI, Bank of Baroda, SBI. There are so many banks, I can take from anyone. So this service provider will never remain the same. Now quality also differs. If you go to other banks, you can find the rate of interest is also different in each and every bank, maybe 1 or 2 point only, but they are different. So the quality of the service is also different. Here an example is given, simple example. Suppose two customers come in the hotel, right? And they naturally they are going to order some different thing or maybe the same thing, but the satisfaction level, but the experience level may be different for both of them, right? So the same restaurant is there, but the consumers are different, and these two different consumers may have different experience with it, right? One may feel good about the services provided by them, or the food provided by, the other may not be happy with that. So this is inconsistency, right? Next is perishability. The production and consumption of services are inseparable because storage of services is not possible. Being an intangible transaction, there can never be an inventory of services. Unlike goods, they cannot be stored for future sale. For example, the vacant seats of morning flight of an airline cannot be utilized in an afternoon flight at the same time. So perishability means, perishable means what? जो एक समय के बाद में खराब हो जाता है, right? Like perishable food, if we talk like milk, we can use it only for the one day. After that, we can't use it, right? So perishable means just which is limited to time, some specific time, right? So in the same way, this production and consumption of services is, you can't store them, right? If I need a loan, I will take it at the time when I need it. मैं ऐसा नहीं कर सकती हूँ कि मैं 5 साल बाद में मुझे जो लोन चाहिए मैं वो आज लेके रखूँ. नो, आई कांट डू इट. I have to take it at the time when I need it, right? In the same way, see, a simple example is given here. Suppose there are by flight you are going somewhere, right? So suppose an airline company is there. So in his morning flight, morning, they have different flights, right? From morning to late night also, even in midnight also. So suppose there is a morning flight, there are some 4 to 5 vacant seats. किसी ने नहीं वो किया है, बुक नहीं किया है, 4-5 सीट खाली चला गया है उस फ्लाइट में, कोई था ही नहीं, कोई कस्टमर ही नहीं है. So can I use that 4-5 seats of morning flight which is already gone in the afternoon? No, I can't, because the flight has gone. So I can't use those 4-5, वो खाली जाएंगी उस फ्लाइट में. अब मैं उन सीट्स को अभी तो नहीं यूज़ कर सकती ना, तो इन आफ्टरनून टाइम. So this is the example of perishability, right? So you can't use those things at that time. So as I give you the other example, like if I need an loan for something which I am going to do after 2 years or 5 years back, I can't take that loan right now. I will have to take that loan at the time when I need it, right? So this is the meaning of perishability. You cannot store such goods, such services. You cannot store it. ले लेके आप रख नहीं सकते हो, आपको जब ज़रूरत है आपको तभी लेना पड़ेगा, right? Then comes the non-transferability. Unlike goods, all services are non-transferable in nature. The ownership of services cannot be transferred from service provided to customer. For example, a customer can book hotel room, but the ownership of the room remains with the hotelier. So again, non-transferability means what? Like goods, once you have sold the goods to the customer, you cannot ask back the goods from customer. आपने एक बार goods बेच दिया, उसकी ownership किसको चली गई है? Customer. अब customer उसको कैसे use करता है, क्या करता है, that is not your headache, right? But it is not with the services. You once means the owner, it cannot be transferred from the service provider to customer. A simple example is given here. See, if you book a room with the hotel, right? So it doesn't mean you have the ownership of that room. You maybe have booked it for 1 day or 2 day. You will use it and then you will move forward, right? So you don't have the ownership of those services. You are just using those services, but the ownership does not get transferred to the consumer. Okay, so this is the meaning of non-transferability. Next, consumer participation. For services, participation of consumer is equally important. Without the participation of consumer, services cannot be offered. The seller cannot offer services without the presence of customer. Vice versa, customer cannot accept services unless the seller is present to offer a service. So consumer participation is very much necessary for availing of services. What does it mean? I give you a simple example. Now insurance company is ready to give an insurance against goods for ₹5 lakh, right? वो तैयार है, insurance company is ready. But if there is no customer, can the insurance company give a loan to can give loan to them? No. The customer should be there na, to take it. Same way if a bank is giving a loan, right? Bank is ready to give loan to anyone who comes, but the customer is not coming. So can bank give loan to someone without having customer? No. The customer has to reach there. So there the participation is from the both the side, the service provider as well as the customer. Both of them has to participate so as to avail the services, so as to use the services. Without customer, services cannot be offered to anyone. Okay, so that's why participation is very much necessary from the customer side also. Now these are some of the features of business services. Now we come to the that is what services. So the features of services. Now we come to the business services. Now what are the specific services which are related to business, right? Now business services. Business cannot be operated in an isolated manner. It requires some activities which facilitate business to grow rapidly. Business services are those services which help a business to grow and help a business to function seamlessly. It means what? Again, we have already learned about services, that features. Same thing is applicable here, but again, we are now specifically learning the business services, right? So business cannot be done in an isolated manner. मतलब मैं सिर्फ अकेले एक प्रोड्यूसर अपना बिजनेस नहीं चला सकता है, इसको बहुत लोगों की मदद लगती है, right? It needs that some activities, some facilities, that business, so that the business should grow. And it are business services are those services which helps the business to grow and function properly, right? Now, what are these types of business services? There are various types of services depending upon their nature and purpose. Some of the important services are as follows, right? So these are some of the, see in the center, that is business services. Then starting from banking, insurance, warehouse, communication, transport, all these five are the main services, business services, which are used in business, without which business cannot be done. Okay, so today we are going to start first with the banking, right? So the term bank comes from the French word banco, which means a bench. In earlier days, money lenders used to display coins of different currencies in big heaps or benches or tables for the purpose of lending or exchanging. So now what is this term? From where this term came? It came from French. Means in the earlier days, what happened? There were, like in India, there were sahukars. Like in French, there were money lenders and all. They, what they used to do, कोई specific जगह नहीं होती थी, तो वो क्या करते थे, benches पे अपना ऐसे coins, पैसे को लगा देते थे, right? They used to display their coins on those benches, so that whoever wants to come take this money, means those who want to take this money from the bank, or bank wants to lend this money or exchange this money, they can see that and they can take it from the money lenders. So because these were coins were displayed on the bench, they gave it the name as banco, means because in French the meaning of banco was bench. Okay, so that's how the name of bank came, right? Then meaning, a bank is a financial institution which deals with deposits and advances and other related services. Bank provide various services related to money or financial requirements of consumer. So bank is a financial institution. Now what is financial institution? Financial means जो पैसे देता है. Finance means money. So those who are dealing in money, that is, bank is such an institution which deals with deposit and advances from and other related services. जो डिपॉजिट लेता है, एडवांसेस देता है, राइट, उसका काम यही है, पैसे लेना लोगों से और लोगों को पैसे देना एज लोन. Bank provides various services related to money or financial requirements of consumer. As per the consumer requirement, it gives the money also. As per the Indian Banking Regulation Act 1949, banking company means any company which transact the business of banking in India. So any company who is doing the business of banking in India, it is what? Bank, as per the Indian Banking Regulation Act. And the word banking has been divided. मतलब banking company वो होती है जो business banking business कर रही है. Now what is banking basically? So banking is defined as accepting for the purpose of lending or investment of deposits of money from public, repayable on demand or otherwise, and withdrawals by check, draft, and order or otherwise. You may feel this definition as very much what is this, but if you go comma by comma, if you understand word by word, it is not so difficult. See how it is. Accepting for the purpose of lending means accepting means what? Bank is accepting, banking accepting the money. See, people, the general public, they go and deposit their money in the bank. So what is they are depositing, and what bank is doing? It is accepting the money. Now why they are accepting this money? For the purpose of lending, because they want to lend it. Lend it means वो उनको उधारी पे देना है, right? That is, they want to give the loans, right? जो पैसा वो पब्लिक, बैंक कैसे काम करती है, सिंपल वे में बताती हूँ. बैंक हम जो पब्लिक है जो जाके बैंक में पैसा डालती है, बैंक उसी पैसे को क्या करती है, दूसरे लोगों को, जिन कस्टमर्स को लोन चाहिए होता है वो उनको देती है, राइट। और ऐसा नहीं है कि बैंक जिसका है वो अपने जेब से पैसा डालता है, कुछ अपने जेब से नहीं होता है। जो बैंक में लोग पैसे डालते हैं, जो डिपॉजिट करते हैं, वही जो डिपॉजिट आता है उसी में से वो लोन देती है। जो लोग डिपॉजिट करते हैं उनको वो कम रेट ऑफ इंटरेस्ट देती है, द रेट ऑफ इंटरेस्ट इज लेस। एंड जिनको वो लोन देती है उस पैसे, तो वो रेट ऑफ इंटरेस्ट हाई होता है, राइट। तो जो वो रेट ऑफ इंटरेस्ट का डिफरेंस होता है वही इनकम होती है बैंक की, राइट। मीन्स एक हाथ से वो लोगों से पैसे लेती है डिपॉजिट की तरह, और दूसरे हाथ से वो दूसरे लोगों को जिनको लोन की ज़रूरत है उनको पैसे देती है। तो जिनसे लेती है उनको कम रेट ऑफ इंटरेस्ट देती है, और जिनको देती है उनको कम, उनसे कम ज़्यादा रेट ऑफ इंटरेस्ट चार्ज करती है, राइट। तो ये जो देना है उसको कम देना है इंटरेस्ट, और जो लेना है वो इंटरेस्ट ज़्यादा लेना है। जो पैसा बचता है वही बैंक की इनकम होती है। दिस इज एज सिंपल एज दैट for if you are at a general level, if I make you understand about bank. Now as per this definition, see, accepting for the purpose of lending, बिजनेस एक्सेप्ट कर रही है, किस लिए एक्सेप्ट कर रही है मनी, फॉर द पर्पज ऑफ लेंडिंग सो दैट इट कैन गिव लोन्स, और इन्वेस्टमेंट्स ऑफ डिपॉजिट ऑफ मनी फ्रॉम पब्लिक, या पब्लिक कुछ इन्वेस्टमेंट्स कर रहे हैं, राइट, फिक्स डिपॉजिट इन्वेस्टमेंट, कोई भी इन्वेस्टमेंट कर रहे हैं फ्रॉम पब्लिक, पब्लिक से लेती है। रीपेबल ऑन डिमांड, अब ये पे कब करना है उनको वापस, ऑन डिमांड। If I am a customer, I am having an account in the bank, I have deposited some money, whenever I will demand my money, bank has to return it. So it is repayable on demand, जब भी कस्टमर मांगेगा अपना पैसा उसको देना है। और अदरवाइज, या फिर एंड विड्रॉवल बाय चेक, ड्राफ्ट एंड ऑर्डर, और अदरवाइज, या तो वो अपना डिमांड कर सकता है कस्टमर पैसा, या फिर क्या कर सकता है, विड्रॉ कर सकता है। ही कैन विड्रॉ, हाउ ही कैन विड्रॉ, बाय चेक, then draft, an order, or otherwise he can use any of the ways and he can withdraw his money. Okay, either he can demand the bank to give it back, or either he can withdraw from his own account. So the main aim is of the bank is here to accept and lend, accepting and lending. Okay, so this is the definition which you have to learn. Now comes the types of bank. There are several types of bank as follows, right? So there are almost, here in your book 9 types of banks are given. So we will learn one by one. The first bank is the central bank. The central bank is the apex financial institution in banking industry in the country. Every country has either their own central bank, has their own central bank. In India, the Reserve Bank of India is the central bank. The RBI was established in 1945 under the Reserve Bank of India Act 1944. Some functions of RBI as follows. Now, what is first of all central bank? Central bank is the apex bank. Apex means सबसे बड़ा, उससे ऊपर कुछ नहीं हुआ। apex means the highest authority, right? apex means जो सबसे फर्स्ट पोजीशन पे है। तो सबसे ऊपर कौन सा बैंक होता है, सेंट्रल बैंक होता है। एंड फॉर एवरी कंट्री, राइट, एवरी कंट्री विल हैव इट्स ओन सेंट्रल बैंक। फॉर इफ वी स्पीक अबाउट इंडिया, for India the central bank is the RBI. RBI means what, Reserve Bank of India. So it is the central bank of India and it has been established in 1945. But the act means इसको ऐसे ही नहीं इस्टेब्लिश हो जाता है ना बैंक, उसको पार्लियामेंट वगैरह में एक्ट लगता है, वहाँ पे डिसाइड होता है, वहाँ पे ये होता है, पेपर पे आता है कि हाँ ये इस्टेब्लिश होगा। सो दिस एक्ट, RBI रिजर्व बैंक ऑफ इंडिया एक्ट वाज पास्ड इन 1944। एक साल पहले ही एक्ट बन गया था, पर उसको बनते बनते इस्टेब्लिश करते करते एक साल लग गया था। सो इट वाज इस्टेब्लिश इन 1945. सो सम ऑफ द इम्पॉर्टेंट फंक्शंस इज व्हाट, frames monetary policy. सबसे पहला function, frames monetary policy. Now what is this monetary policy? Monetary means money. Whatever policies which are related to finance or money, it is decided by RBI in India. For example, what should be the interest rate for deposit, what should be interest rate for loan, how much money is to be kept as SLR, CRR, SLR. But these are some terms. Basically, you have to understand that monetary policy means what? How much money should be there in the economy. It is all decided by the RBI. Money से related economy में एक country में money से related जो भी decision होता है that is taken by RBI. It has various tools like for to so that if suppose it is hiring the interest rate, right? So it means that people should not take loans, so the money will be in the economy. So there are many things relating to that. As in the textbook, it is not gone into the depth, so it's just understand that the monetary policy means whatever decisions which are relating to monetary to money in the country, it is taken by the RBI. As simple as interest rates and all are decided by the RBI. Bank cannot decide it on its own. All other commercial banks come under RBI. All banks, they come under the RBI. So RBI is like the principal, right? बाकी सब लोग उसके अंडर आते हैं. जो RBI बोलेगा, जैसे बोलेगा, उनको वैसे काम करना है. देन नेक्स्ट इज व्हाट? इशूज करेंसी नोट. अब उसका सेकंड मेन काम क्या होता है, फंक्शन क्या है? इशू करेंसी नोट. वॉट एवर करेंसी मीन्स व्हाट? द नोट दैट विच आर मनी विच आर यूजिंग इन मार्केट. जो आपका नोट्स होते हैं, 100 का नोट, 500 का नोट, सो दिस आर इशूड बाय द RBI ओनली, राइट? सो दैट देर इज नो डुप्लीकेशन ऑफ नोट्स. अगर 4 बैंक अपने अपने तरीके से नोट्स बनाने लेंगे, सो देर कैन बी डुप्लीकेशन ऑफ वर्क. सो फॉर दैट, right, to maintain that monopoly, RBI has the monopoly to issue the currency notes. All notes are issued by RBI. It acts as a banker to the government. It means what? It will, I suppose I, Jyotsna Kaushik, want to take loan. I can't go to RBI and take the loan, right? Or it gives loans and advances. It acts as a banker, but to whom? To government. Suppose sometimes if government needs some money as a loan, then government will go to RBI, right? It doesn't, RBI doesn't deal with the normal general public, right? So next is acts as a banker's bank to commercial and other banks in India. So as the last point, it gives loans and advances to government. In the same way, it also acts as a banker to the commercial and other banks in India. General public cannot go there, right? So these are the 4 major functions of RBI, that is monetary policy, currency notes, banker to government, and banker to other commercial banks. Okay, and this was the first bank. Second comes the commercial banks. The commercial banks plays an important role in economic and social development of a country. Commercial banks performs important functions such as primary functions, accepting of deposits and lending of money, and secondary function, that is agency and utility functions. In India, commercial banks are divided into 3 groups. Now what are commercial banks? Now as I told you, RBI is not open to general public. Commercial banks are those banks which are open to the general public. जो हम जो भी बैंक का काम करते हैं, जो भी बैंक्स हैं ये, HDFC, SBI, right, ICICI, then whichever, Canara Bank, Oriental Bank, जो भी banks हैं, सारे कौन से बैंक हैं? Commercial bank. Commercial banks are those banks where public can come and deposit the money. Okay, so this, because they are related with public, so it, like, these banks deposit and lends money with, so this is their primary function. उनका सबसे पहला function होता है accepting deposit and lending of money. Again, with this primary function, they also perform the secondary function, that is they do some agency functions and utility functions, like they offer you a credit card, right? They help in underwriting of shares, then they give you loans and advances, then they help you in what we can say, like locker systems, so that you can keep your valuables in the bank, right? They help into your periodic payments, right? You can do your periodic payments from bank directly if you instruct the bank. So all these are the agency and utility functions which are done by the bank as secondary function. ये उनका दूसरा, ये इनका इतना important नहीं है. पहला important काम क्या था? Accepting of deposits and lending of money, right? So because it does such primary and secondary functions, we can say that this commercial bank plays an important role in economic and social development of a country, right? Now again, this commercial bank can be classified into three types. First one is the public sector bank, like where the majority of capital is held by government, such as Bank of India, State Bank of India, etc. So public sector bank is which bank where the major shareholding is with the government, right? Government intervention is there, right? For example, Bank of India, SBI, all these are the public sector banks. Second is the private sector banks. Private sector banks are owned by group of individuals such as Axis Bank, HDFC Bank, etc. So here the major holding will be in the private hands, means जिसका भी वो owner है जो भी वो उसके हाथ में होगा, right? So Axis Bank, HDFC, these are the private sector banks. Then comes the foreign banks. Foreign banks are those banks which are established in outside India, but these banks have branches in India, such as Citibank, HSBC, Standard Chartered, etc. So foreign banks are those banks which are actually origin of these banks are in foreign countries, but they are having branches in India also. So these are the foreign banks. In this way, commercial banks are classified into three: public sector, in which government holdings are more; private sector, in which private holdings are more; foreign banks, which are outside India but their branches in the India. Okay. Now coming to the next, that is cooperative banks. In India, cooperative banks are registered under Indian Cooperative Societies Act and regulated under Banking Regulation Act. Cooperative banks are popular in semi-urban and rural areas. The main aim of cooperative bank is to provide credit to economically backward people, farmers and small scale units. Generally, the cooperative bank works at three different levels. So we have already learned about the cooperative societies in our 11th standard, right? So this bank is registered under the Indian Cooperative Societies Act, and but they have to follow the rules and regulations of banking system. Why? Because it is regulated by Banking Regulation Act. So they actually you can't find it in the urban areas properly, but in the semi-urban areas or rural areas, because the main aim of this bank is to give loans and advances or credit to the economically backward people, means which are who are poor, right? They like farmers, small scale units, those who are working in cottage industries or small industries, such type of uh, people. This bank gives loans and advances credit to such type of peoples. Now they work at three levels. Now what are those three levels? Primary credit society. Primary credit society works at village level. They collect deposit from members and common public. They also get funds from the state cooperative and district cooperative banks. Banks for the purpose of lending. So primary credit societies are basically in the villages. छोटे छोटे गाँव में ये होते हैं private cooperative banks जो होते हैं, they are primary credit societies where the small villagers, the farmers, they can come and deposit their money, as well as they can get the funds, they can get the loans also. Deposit भी कर सकते हैं, loans भी ले सकते हैं. अब primary क्रेडिट सोसाइटी को पैसा कहाँ से मिलता है लोन देने के लिए? सो फ्रॉम वेयर इट गेट मनी? So it get money from the district and the state cooperative bank, which is the next other two bank. So this is primary credit is in the lower level. सबसे नीचे level पे है primary credit society. Then comes the district credit society, control cooperative bank. These bank operate at district level. They obtain deposit from the public at district level and also get funds from the state cooperative bank for the purpose of lending. So again, this is at the district. This is as per the levels, right? Primary वाला जो था वो village level पे था, district वाला जो है वो district level पे. So people from district can come and keep the deposits with the bank, and district will get the money from state cooperative bank for lending. Now next, from the state cooperative bank. This bank operates at state level. They provide funds to central cooperative bank and primary credit societies as required. So since State Cooperative Bank also performs functions of monitoring over district bank and credit cooperative society. So again they are at the state level, and their main function is what? To provide to supervise these two, which one? Primary and district, as well as to give them money so as they can give the, so as to help them to fund the people who are coming there, right? As and when it is required, they provide funds to those people, these two banks, right? So the hierarchy is what? At the lower level, primary credit society, uske upar hai district, uske upar hai state, right? So district is the common between primary and state, क्योंकि डिस्ट्रिक्ट जो होता है वो स्टेट से भी पैसा लेता है और प्राइमरी को भी देता है ना? और डिस्ट्रिक्ट को कहाँ से मिलता है? स्टेट से मिलता है, राइट? एंड स्टेट क्या करता है? दोनों को देता है, राइट? सो दिस इज हाउ द वर्क कम्स, राइट? एक के अंदर एक है, तो दिस इज द हायरार्की. फर्स्ट टॉप में आएगा स्टेट, देन कम्स डिस्ट्रिक्ट, देन कम्स प्राइमरी. ओके, so this is about the cooperative bank. So today we have learned about three banks, that is the central bank. First of all, what is, why we are learning about this bank? Because this is the first business service that we are learning, right? Now in these banks we have learned today central bank, commercial. Central bank is the RBI of India. Commercial bank means the bank which gives loans and advances to the public. Cooperative banks, which are in the semi-urban and urban rural areas, which gives at three levels, like primary in village level, district at district level, and state at the state level, right? So today we will stop here. From the in the next lecture I will go through the other banks also. Okay, thank you.